name is Wright Middleton of Wright Middleton Productions, and thank you so much for being with us right now. We are having a panel discussion called Like Mother, Like Daughter, Like Me. And the basis of the discussion is to highlight the different dynamics of the mother-daughter relationship and how that relationship impacts our community, our lives, and the next generation. So today I have some wonderful guests joining me, some brave women, Miss Altamise and her daughter Ashley. Thank you so much for being with me.
You're so welcome.
I appreciate it. So I want to jump right in.
Okay.
Like I said, the mother-daughter relationship is important. It impacts the next generation. It impacts our community. It impacts the men in our lives, even though it's a mother-daughter relationship, because we teach our daughters how to treat the men in our lives. So I want to start with you, Miss Altamise. How would you describe your relationship with your mother? And how has that relationship impacted the relationship with you and your daughters?
I would say, honestly, my mother and I had a really good relationship. My mom she was a go-getter. She was a hard worker. She put up with a lot of crap, and she did a lot of things that I would say that, I don't know if I'm going to do that, what she did. So, but I would say our relationship was really good. I could talk to my mom, but there were some areas that things that you could, you wanted to talk to your mom about that you felt like I couldn't talk to her about because she was like, okay, keep going, press in, just do what you got to do.
Right. Like bear it.
Grin and bear it. Grin and bear it, right? Yeah.
We teach our daughters that.
Yeah, just keep smiling. It's going to be all right. So we did, I have to say we had a really good relationship, but if I could take one thing away from something I learned from my mom was just, she was a really hard worker. And one of the things that I didn't like that I'm just not taking this one. I didn't agree with the fact, all the stuff that I saw her go through in her life and how she would just say, just grin and bear it and just kind of let it go. Because I don't think that's a good place to be in.
Okay. This is like a silent sufferer type.
Right.
Let me ask you a question. Even though you didn't like it, have you found in your life that you've repeated the same thing?
Yep. Sometimes I have. Yep. But you know what I'm finding though? As I get older, like my tolerance level from that grin and bear it. No, we're not grinning and bearing it. We just gonna tell you. We just gonna let you know. And you take it how you will, but no, we're not tolerating that.
So Ashley, you smiling over there. What would you say to what your mom? How would you describe your relationship with her?
With my mom?
Yeah.
Our relationship is a relationship. We have, as I get older, it's getting better and better.
Okay.
In the past 5 or 6 years, it has went from like 0 to like 100.
Okay.
So
what caused it to change?
I got pregnant at 19, and I had an awesome job then. And her and my father decided that I had to leave when I was 3 months pregnant.
Okay.
I thought they were joking. So once it was time to leave, my dad was like, let's go. So I was homeless for about a year or two, maybe. My son is 9 now. I have my own house. I've been in my house for 7 years. So at that point, I didn't like her. I didn't want to talk to her. I would go to church and be in the same church where I didn't even want to talk to her.
What changed that though? When did you get to the point that you liked her again?
I always liked her.
When did you understand?
Oh, probably February 26, 2010.
You know the date.
Absolutely.
Okay.
February 26, 2010, I was actually pregnant with my second child.
Okay.
I got pregnant when I was living in the shelter. I had to, I needed people to help me move. I had nothing. I moved, I think, a couple totes, and I just got my taxes back for the first time, and I bought my youngest son a bunch of stuff. I called my dad, my mom, and at that time, my oldest brother, he was about to move. We were both in the transition of becoming adults.
Okay.
Is what I call it.
Okay.
And my dad had called and was like, look, I got all this furniture for a house. Whoever moved first gets everything.
Okay.
I don't care which one of y'all, just whoever. And I ended up getting my keys February 25th, 2010. I called my parents. My dad was like, it's going to rain. I know you want to get out the shelter, but we got to wait until tomorrow. I was like, oh my God. I do not want to spend another night in here. The next day, my mom came with her Yukon and was like, where your stuff at? Come on. I was pregnant.
Mom to the rescue.
Yeah, I was pregnant. It was my mom. My oldest brother came, my dad, and they moved everything from the shelter to my house. And before we moved anything, and my mom was like, no, I need to bless this out. I need to pray. And I was like, Dang.
What did that say to you? What did
she really does care.
So let me ask you a question. At any point did you come to the understanding of why the decisions were made when you got pregnant? Like, what brought that healing? Because she moved your furniture, she was there, but what actually helped you forgive her, or did you?
Oh yeah, I forgave my mom.
Okay.
What really helped was actually living in the shelter. When I had to go to work, I worked weekends. I ended up having 2 jobs, and I worked at Panera Bread. When I got pregnant with my son, my second son, I didn't want to tell her. I didn't tell her. Her friend told her, and she called and was like, don't have my friends tell me. The sin is not, and she told me this when I got pregnant with my older son, the sin is not in the baby, the sin was in the sex. She said, you're going to get through this, and you just got to move on. Now you know you really got to step it up a notch.
Altamis, let me ask you a question. How do you feel, how fragile do you think the relationship between a mother and daughter is? Do you think it's fragile?
Our relationship? I don't think it's fragile now. I knew through that period of time it was fragile. When the time when she was pregnant, and from just several years after that, it was fragile. And I realize now that just hearing her sitting here today and hearing her say that, you know, she liked me, she probably tolerated me, but she had some issues with me. That's fragile, hearing that today, but I kind of knew that. But now we've gotten to that point where I think our relationship has probably have grown. Hey, boo-boo.
Are those tears?
Yeah.
Are those tears?
Yes.
Okay.
So I didn't realize to just hearing that today, but I think it's better. I would say, I don't know.
Better is not even the word.
Yeah.
It's a 10 times.
You would never know that we went through that period unless you know us. Because Grit and Bear is what we... it's funny because I know my grandmother. I know exactly how she is. And for her to say that she did that, I ended up doing it myself during this whole period. I finally got to the point where I stopped gritting and bearing because of her. A couple years ago, she said, stop, put your pride to the side. You need to tell people if you need help.
So the change that she decided to make helped you make a change in your life as well. Wow. This is so awesome. I lost my mother when I was young. I was 17 years old. And it wasn't until I turned 30 that I understood where she was and how she may have been feeling and what drove the decisions that she made. So I want to ask you, now that you're older, Ashley, can you kind of see into your mother? Can you kind of see the feelings that she may have because you have them? Like, do you have any insight into her as a woman?
Absolutely. I have 2 boys myself. So I just look now, I'm like, dang. I know it was hard for her. I know for a fact. She's told me years afterwards. But she just wanted me to be better than whatever, the grin and bear. She didn't want me to have to do that. And she just wanted me to be successful. It actually, I'm kind of glad they decided to do that. Because I probably wouldn't work hard like I do.
Okay. Altamis, what is something that you may have wanted to share with Ashley that you didn't? Something in you that she doesn't know and she may need to know.
I think I need to tell her, and I used to always say this when you were younger, She's my first princess. And I didn't realize it until probably about, I don't know, it's probably about 3 or 4 months ago. We were riding in the car, and I think one of my grandsons had recognized something. You know how you put people's numbers in your phone, and you put it like your son, your daughter, your baby girl, something like that. I didn't have anything in parentheses for her, and it wasn't like I purposely did it, but I just need you to know that you're my first princess. You always are my first princess. My first princess. You are, and I love you. All right, and I appreciate you, and I'm so proud and happy that the young woman that you have become. And I love you. And I'm sorry that we had to go through some of the pain that we went through, but guess what? We got through the pain. It was just as painful for you. It was painful for me too. But I love you, and you are my first princess. You're just a bigger, older princess now, just even more beautiful.
Oh God. I have another question for you.
Absolutely.
What is something that you wish your mom would have said to you?
Wow.
Oh, Jesus.
One of the things I probably wish my mom would have said to me was, you don't have to always smile your way through everything, because sometimes things are going to be difficult, and it's okay for you to say how you really feeling and not feel like you got to protect everybody else's feelings and making sure you're not hurting everybody else. Because I think for me, if my mom had told me that some years ago, I don't think I would be. Now I'm at the point in my life where, as I was saying, that I don't think I kind of like, it doesn't matter to me as much. Not that that sounds insensitive. I'm not as bothered by if I have to say something to people and I have to address the situation, but I think I could have probably shaved off some years off of my life of like going through and feeling like guilty. Because when you say things to people, for me, it's always been like, oh my God, I hurt their feelings. I want to. That's one of the things I wish she had told me years ago, that you ain't got to grin and bear it all the time. Just tell people what you mean, and just.
What's the hardest thing about being a mother to a daughter?
Probably one of the hardest things is just being honest with them, being upfront with them, and not making the same mistakes with them that my mom made with me. Some of the things that I wish she had said to me, some of the things that I wish that she had done, making sure that I don't do that with my daughters. Making sure I tell them so many things, and because sometimes as a parent you feel like, you know what, I should have told my daughter this. Did I tell them this? Did I do this with them? Did I show them this stuff? And you don't want other people. I mean, I know it takes a whole village, but there are some things that just needs to come from mom.
Mother. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I know you have another daughter who's not here, but I want to ask you, what would you say to her? What is something that you would want to say to her right now where she is?
One thing that I want to say to her would be, don't feel like you have to be perfect. Be yourself, be who you are, and don't expect to be who other people want you to be. Allow other people, their feelings, their emotions to dictate to you who you're supposed to be.
Ashley, is it hard for you to be Altamisa's daughter?
Nope. Not anymore.
Okay.
Because I feel like I've made all the mistakes probably possible as a daughter, as the oldest daughter. So I feel like now that I'm older, I used to feel like I wasn't doing her any justice, or my father. But now it's just like, I'm just to the point where, hey, you make mistakes, life sucks, you know. I'll get over it. We'll get through it.
What's something that you think she needs to hear from? Something she needs to hear from you? What is something that you know you might need to say, or something she needs to hear that she doesn't know?
Well, I don't think I ever did, but I apologize for even causing the issues I did between you and Dad, having you feel like, oh my God, I gotta do something, because I know having a blended family was hard. Mm-hmm. And I was the only one without the same biological father. And I put you in a lot of positions where you had to choose between your husband and your child. Mm-hmm. And I'm sorry. And I apologize. Mm-hmm. I never meant to make you feel like that. No. And I understand that a lot of decisions you made were just to benefit me. And now my kids. Oh. So I'm sorry. And I always loved you. Yeah. I hated you at one point, but it wasn't because of the things you did. It was because you were not my friend. You were my mother. And I wanted you to be my friend like every other girl or some girls I was around. You were never my friend. You were always my mother. Mm-hmm. And I appreciate you for that. Mm-hmm. I thank you. Yeah. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much for this first segment. Like mother, like daughter, like me. Know the importance of your voice in your daughter's life, and know the importance of your voice in the life of your community. You only get one mother, and that is important. Your mother will teach you how to live and how to love, and hopefully she will teach you not to make the mistakes that she has. So again, thank you. I'm J. Wright Middleton. Thank you so much for being with us. What you just witnessed were real stories from real mother and daughters. You watched these women pour their hearts out, and they spoke directly from their soul. Mother and daughter relationships are so important, and that's why we're inviting you to come join us May 13th and 14th for 2 shows of Like Mother, Like Daughter, Like Me, a musical comedy. You're going to watch mothers and daughters travel through a journey of truth, love, and forgiveness. The shows again are Saturday and Sunday, May 13th and 14th at Abundant Love Ministries. The address is 32B Jermaine Drive in Wilmington, Delaware, and the pastor is Pastor Sadie Brunson. The 2 shows are going to be phenomenal. You can find tickets online at jwrightmiddleton.com, or you can find me on Facebook at jwrightmiddleton. We want to see you there. Thank you. God bless.